Welcome to English Matura with JB. All right, today we're going to talk about something that pretty much everyone around the world thinks about at the start of the year, and that is making New Year's resolutions.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break down what they are, figure out why so many of us, struggle to actually keep them, and, this is the important part, I'm going to share some super simple rules to help you actually succeed with yours. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, what even is a New Year's resolution? Like, why do we do this every year?
Think about it. New Year's Eve is just this huge global party, right? There are fireworks, everyone's celebrating, and there's this incredible feeling of hope in the air. It's what we call a clean slate. It's an idiom, and it basically just means you get a fresh start, a chance to begin all over again.
I mean, look at this. You've got these massive crowds in places like London, all just waiting for midnight. Or maybe it's just a quiet night in with your family. Either way, it's a really special moment that we all kind of share. It makes you wonder, have you ever been to a big celebration like that?
And that feeling, that sense of a new beginning, is exactly where the tradition of making a resolution comes from. It's just a promise you make to yourself. Stuff like, this year, I'm going to exercise every week. Or, okay, I'm definitely going to stop eating so much junk food. Okay, let's be honest. If you're anything like me, you've probably made a resolution that lasted, a week? Maybe 2. It's a super common experience. So let's actually dig in and figure out why it's so darn hard to stick with them. Get this, a recent survey found that almost 62% of people feel pressured to set a New Year's resolution. I mean, that's a lot. But it makes sense, right? All your friends are talking about their big, ambitious plans, and you start to feel like you need one too. So here's one of the biggest traps we fall into. Setting an ambiguous goal. And ambiguous just means it's not clear at all. For example, saying, I want to get fit, or I want to be healthier. That's a nice thought, but it's a terrible goal. I mean, how do you even measure that? It's kind of like trying to drive somewhere new without a map. You just won't get there.
Another mistake we make all the time is setting goals that are way too big, or what we call lofty. A lofty goal is just something that's super high up and really, really hard to reach. Like deciding you're going to read 50 books this year when you only read 2 last year. It sounds awesome, but it can get overwhelming fast. But, and this is maybe the most important thing you'll hear today, you have to remember this. Even though a lot of resolutions fail, just the act of setting one makes you 10 times more likely to actually change your behavior than people who don't. 10 times. That's just incredible. It means that just by setting a goal, you're already giving yourself a massive head start.
So the big question is, how do we get into that successful group? Well, here's the secret. It's not about trying harder. It's about being smarter. So let's check out the rules for success.
Okay, here they are, 4 simple rules that can seriously change everything. Rule number 1, be specific. So instead of get fit, you say, I will run a half marathon. See the difference? Rule 2, pick just one. Seriously, trying to change your whole life at once is just a recipe for failure. Third, get some support. Tell your friends or your family. A buddy system works wonders. And last but not least, number 4, reward yourself. When you hit those small wins along the way, celebrate them. It keeps you motivated.
And one of the most powerful things you can possibly do is just write your goal down. There's something magical that happens when you take that idea floating around in your head and put it down on paper. It stops being a wish and starts becoming a real, concrete plan.
All right, so we've got the basics down for setting SMART goals. But what if you want to go bigger? I'm talking about aiming for something that could genuinely change your life. Yeah, let's talk about that.
This is what's known as a stretch goal. But my absolute favorite name for it is a big, hairy, audacious goal. How great is that? A BHAG. It's a goal that's so huge, it's kind of scary. It's the kind of goal that forces you to level up, to learn new things, and to pretty much become a different person to actually achieve it.
When you push yourself out of that comfort zone, something really amazing happens. This quote here says it creates a sense of thrill and joy. And that's so true. It's that rush of excitement you get from tackling something new and hard that actually fuels you and keeps you motivated when the going gets tough.
And yeah, this slide really nails it. Setting these huge goals, it's not just about what you achieve at the end. It's about who you become on the journey there. You find more joy, you become more disciplined, you stay motivated, and you really, truly learn about yourself. It's a total game changer. Really, it changes you from the inside out.
So I guess the big takeaway is this. It's so much better to aim for something huge and maybe fall a little short than to aim for something easy and get it. Why? Because you grow so much more in the process. Okay, so with all of that in our heads now, let's bring this back to you. Just take a second and think about your own life. What's one area where you'd really love to see a change this year? Maybe it's health, maybe it's your studies, or a hobby, or even your family life. It could be absolutely anything.
And remember, this doesn't have to be some goal that will change the entire world. It just has to be a goal that will change your world. Something that gets you excited when you think about it, and maybe makes you just a little bit nervous in a good way. So I'm going to leave you with this one final question to really think about. What goal will you stretch for this year?